If you're struggling to lose weight and lose belly fat, trying to get that six pack with intermittent fasting, you try counting calories, you try doing a caloric deficit, yeah, it feels like the hunger pangs are just way too extreme for you to bear, then this intermittent fasting crash course might be for you. Hi, my name is Raiden. I've been using intermittent fasting to get a six pack in 6, 7 months. 4 of those months, I didn't work out at all. So it's pure intermittent fasting, no working out, no running, no going to the gym because I was like bedridden because I sprained my back. And so intermittent fasting really worked for me very well. So what is intermittent fasting? For those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically restricting the time that you eat and the times that you don't eat. So you divide the day into two parts. So you have your eating window and then you have your fasting window. People who intermittent fast every single day, it's called time restricted eating. There's also different types of intermittent fasting, such as alternate day fasting. So Monday you fast, Tuesday you don't fast, and then Wednesday you start fasting again, Thursday you don't fast, etc., and it goes on. However, what I'm teaching right here is really useful for people who have never tried intermittent fasting before because it is a gradual lifestyle change. One meal a day, alternate day fasting is just way too drastic of a lifestyle change. Time restricted eating is way more useful for people who are just starting out because it's not a drastic lifestyle change. A lot of times when people start diets, they fall off or they try to intermittent fast and then they fall off after 2 weeks because it is too much of a change and they couldn't keep up with it. They need a lot of willpower. I'm going to show you how to not use a lot of willpower and brain power, especially when you are doing intermittent fasting with this crash course right here. I'm going to teach you 3 things that I've learned along the way. So the first thing that I learned is actually how your body uses adipose tissue, fat tissue, for energy instead of glucose, the food that you eat. So our body really takes quite a while to deplete our liver of its glycogen stores. So our body processes our meals and stores it in 3 ways. The first way is glucose all around your muscles. That's where your body uses the energy that you eat immediately. When you eat food, your body is going to transport, it's going to up its insulin because blood sugar goes up when you eat. It's going to up the insulin, and insulin is an energy storage hormone that helps you store the energy, and the insulin helps your body transport the food into your muscles to be used immediately. The second way is in the form of glycogen inside your liver. So your liver can hold up around 1200, 1500 calories per day until it's depleted. The third way your body stores energy is fat tissue. It can be visceral fat around your organs, and it can also be subcutaneous fat all around your body. That's the subcutaneous fat. The subcutaneous fat is the fat that is visible, where you are able to see it in your belly fat, your buccal fat, your face fat, etc. So what I learned is that in order to deplete its liver, our liver, of its glycogen stores so that your body can move on to the fat tissue, is that you need to wait 12 hours. So 12, 13 hours, some people, when they have really big livers, they need 15 hours. So it really varies from person to person. For me, 12 to 13 hours is more than enough for my body to deplete its liver of its glycogen stores, and then I'll be in fat burning mode. So time restricted eating is very helpful because once you don't eat for 12 hours, then your body is going to be depleted of its glycogen stores in the liver, and then you'll be in pure fat burning mode. So I would usually do 14-hour fast minimum, and I would usually do 16-hour fasts like maximum. I don't go beyond that because I will be way too hungry. So for example, of time restricted eating, I would stop eating at around 6 p.m. That's my dinner time. And then until the next day's 12 p.m., I don't eat at all. I only consume 0-calorie beverages. So green teas, black coffee with a little bit of stevia, artificial sweetener with 0 calories. That works very well for me to help myself be satiated, feel full, so that until my eating window kicks in, I won't be, experiencing very intense hunger pangs. That's the first thing that I learned, is that once I learn how to deplete my liver of its glycogen stores, then I understand what's going on inside my body so that I don't have to worry about it at all. And I can just stick to the very easy rule of Don't eat during your fasting window, and then eat during your eating window. So 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. is my eating window. So I got about 6 hours of eating, and then I have about 18 hours of fasting. But that's an extreme side. I don't go anything beyond that. If I had a 4 hour eating window, it would be way too drastic for me, and I won't be able to sustain it for a really long time. That's key as well. The second thing that I learned is that vegetables are nature's Ozempic. Now, when you see vegans, when you see vegetarians, when you see healthy people out there eating granola and avocado toast, you it's not familiar to you because either you have never eaten vegetables at all in your life, you get forced to eat vegetables when you were a kid, but you didn't know the benefits of it. So what do vegetables do for your body? Why is it so good for you? Well, first of all, there's so many antioxidant properties inside vegetables, inside fruits, that will help you cleanse your gut. It will help you, feel a lot better because you're not so sluggish after you eat fiber. It's also a huge proponent of why we eat vegetables as well. We feel satiated, we don't get brain fog because fiber, we cannot actually digest it really well as easily as carbohydrates. So when you eat fiber is food like celery, like broccoli, like cauliflower, fruits, bananas, even grains such as oats and barley, they help your body slow down digestion so that you don't increase your blood sugar that drastically once you take a bite of your carbohydrates like rice, pasta, and white bread. So fiber actually helps slow down digestion so that you don't get a sugar crash after you eat. That's when people get brain fog. After lunch at work, people would have this thing called food coma where they feel really sleepy, and that's because when they consume only carbohydrates with very little fiber, their body digests that carbohydrate straight away, turn it into glucose almost immediately. Like the digestive process kicks it up a notch because it's so easy for your body to break down carbohydrates because carbohydrates are already broken down like wheat, flour, rice, pasta. The process of making carbohydrates edible is already a quote unquote a digestion because you have to break down wheat so hard. You have to take out the hard shells of rice so that it becomes white rice. So it's already broken down for you. And when it's already broken down for you, your body doesn't need to work that hard to digest the carbohydrates. So you will have a way easier time to digest your carbohydrates. So fiber helps your body slow down the absorption of carbohydrates, and that's also one of the reasons why it's very useful for intermittent fasting. Since it's very difficult for your body to digest fiber, it's going to help you feel fuller for longer. Vegetables are nature's Ozempic. Use it as a tool, as a strategy to help you feel fuller because during diets, during intermittent fasting, whatever, caloric deficit modality you choose, you are going to face the feeling of hunger. So the faster you tackle hunger, the higher your success rate when you try out these diets. Doesn't matter if it's intermittent fasting, doesn't matter if it's just salads and lean meats, doesn't matter if it's, a caloric deficit. You will experience the feeling of hunger. So the third thing that I use that helped me be really successful with intermittent fasting is that I am very compassionate with myself. A lot of times people put in a lot of pressure on themselves to stick to something that they don't like. It requires a lot of discipline. Not only is it a drastic change in their lifestyle so that they cannot even sustain it for more than a month, but they are so hard on themselves. When I was starting out intermittent fasting, I remember punishing myself mentally like, oh, why did I break my fast this early? Oh, I couldn't even sustain a 6 hour eating window. How do I expect myself to lose any weight? Because I need to maintain this for at least a couple of months in order to even see results. Now that mentality really holds people back from achieving the results that they want. If you have tried intermittent fasting before or any caloric restrictive diet, you might have experienced this. The hard negative self-talk that you have on yourself, is unneeded. It is unneeded pressure that you're putting on yourself that is keeping you from getting the results that you want. So self-compassion when you are doing intermittent fasting is really key. When you miss out on your eating window, or when you accidentally broken your fast, or when you feel like you have a social obligation to, go to a family gathering, your coworkers are going out for a dinner, you are meeting friends and you cannot sustain your intermittent fasting window for that day itself, do not punish yourself. It's only one day and you're not going to lose any significant progress. It's not like you're gonna gain all of your fat back. It's such an insignificant amount because gaining fat is actually difficult as well, especially when you're 2 weeks into your intermittent fasting. So missing a day, missing 2, 3 days even, is not that significant of a back step. You're not going to gain all of your fat back just because you miss 2, 3 days. Be kind to yourself, have a lot of self-compassion, because intermittent fasting, being in a caloric deficit is already difficult. You don't want to add that unnecessary pressure on yourself to stick to that really strict routine, because you can be flexible. Sometimes you can have dinner at 6. Sometimes you can have dinner at 7. It doesn't matter. I've tried all the modalities and I've tried being flexible, I've tried being strict. It really doesn't do that much difference for your results. As long as you're depleting your liver of its glycogen stores, you have 12 hours minimum of fasting. So let's say 9 p.m. you stop eating, and then until the next day's 9 a.m., you are going to empty your liver of its glycogen stores, and your body is going to tap into your fat stores, and your belly fat will decrease slowly but surely. The result is guaranteed. The people who are putting a lot of pressure on themselves and then they fall off after weeks of fasting, it really doesn't make sense if you think about it this way. It's unneeded pressure. So I'm going to recap again, but I want to put a lot of emphasis on the third point, because that's the key thing that is holding people back from getting the six-pack they want, from losing the weight that they are trying to lose, from losing the belly fat, from being able to fit into their high school prom dress or prom suit. You gotta stop putting a lot of pressure on yourself, even though you miss a gym day, especially the times where life gets in the way and you miss a gym day, you miss a workout session, you miss 2 to 3 days of intermittent fasting. It's okay. You can still continue. It's a long process. My personal experience, it took me 6, 7 months in order to get my six-pack as a skinny fat person. I was already skinny fat. I was already skinny. I just needed that fupa area to be decreased so my abs can be visible. And it was significantly hard for me when I had this negative mentality with myself. Oh, I missed one day and that means I have to give up everything that I've worked for. No, you can still continue. You're not going to lose that much progress. Be kind to yourself and have some self-compassion. It doesn't matter if you break your fast at 11 a.m. sometimes, even though you planned for a 12 p.m. breakfast. So those are the 3 things that you need to know if you want to start intermittent fasting successfully. Your frustrations are going to be minimal once you know these things. I'm going to recap. The first one is actually knowing what is happening inside your body when you're intermittent fasting. 12 hours, your liver is going to be depleted. Have at least 12 hours of fasting because you want your liver to be depleted of its glycogen stores so that you can be in fat burning mode. The second one is get some more fiber inside your diet. Vegetables are nature's Ozempic. It is an appetite suppressant that is available for us for cheap and also is natural, so it's not going to have any side effects. In fact, it's going to be really good for you, for your health. And finally, have some self-compassion and be kind to yourself. And intermittent fasting, caloric restriction diet, any sort of diet is already difficult. You don't want to put unnecessary pressure on yourself. If you accidentally skipped one day, or if you have a social obligation to, miss a day of intermittent fasting, you're not going to lose that much progress. Keep continuing. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If I had quit. There was one time that I took a break for 1 week because I was plateauing in my fat loss progress. You know, I wasn't losing any fat for one entire week, and because my basal metabolic rate, the rate at which my body burns calories at rest, has adapted to my caloric restriction, so I took a week off. Now remember, your body is really smart, and it acts like a thermostat. It is a homeostasis seeking machine. It is a balance seeking machine. So if you undereat, if you are in a significant caloric deficit, your body is going to adapt slowly but surely to the calorie restriction you have put on yourself so that you won't be starving. Your body reduces its metabolic rate, it reduces its internal body temperature so that your body doesn't burn unneeded calories because it's perceiving a lack of food, it's going to adapt. So even if you miss a day, even if you miss a week of intermittent fasting, don't just give up entirely. You might need that break. You might need that break to reset your basal metabolic rate so that your body is not in fight or flight mode, so that it's not, reducing its internal body temperature in order to adapt to your caloric deficit. Those are the three main points in order to be really successful with intermittent fasting. If you'd like to know more, I have a free school community with an in-depth course on intermittent fasting where I cover not only how to intermittent fast. I have an in-depth course in the school community called Let Your Body Eat the Fat course, where I cover not only how to speed up fat loss, but also how to mitigate every single problem you may have, such as sleep problems, hunger pangs, satiety, understanding the hormones that are fluctuating inside your body, a lot of talk about insulin, a lot of talk about ghrelin and leptin, your hunger hormone, your satiety hormone, and also how to slowly introduce exercise into your life so that you can be fit for life, not just a small phase of the year. But the main takeaway of the Let Your Body Eat the Fat community at school is actually accountability. A lot of people don't stick to intermittent fasting because they're the only ones doing it and they feel left out. They feel like, oh, it's not worth it to be socially outcasted at dinner because I'm not eating dinner or I'm not eating lunch. It is very useful to be in a community with people who are intermittent fasting alongside you. It's going to help you keep going. It's going to help you brainstorm with other people on the hunger troubles. If you need any questions answered, I will also be there inside the community. And also anytime you need a refresher on how to intermittent fast successfully, the Let Your Body Eat the Fat course is always there for you. If you want to know more on how to intermittent fast successfully, join the school community. The link is down below. I have been Raiden. I'll talk to you soon.